today to do my Intimidating TBR tag, and I was tagged by Shannon from Leaning Lights, and Lindsay from Lindsay Ray is the creator of this tag, so I'll put a link to both of their channels down below. They are both amazing. If you have not checked out their videos, you really should because they're fantastic. Okay, so we'll get started with this tag. Okay, the first question is, what book have you been unable to finish? And that book is definitely, for me, The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This has nothing to do with the fact that I have not enjoyed this book. Actually, I have really enjoyed what I've read so far. I'm 60 pages in, and I've enjoyed every moment of reading this book, but something has happened. I've started this like 3 times. I've gotten about to the same place every single time, and just something has happened and has caused me to either read something else or I don't know, there's like this block in me. And the thing is, I know I'm gonna like this book. I've heard amazing things. Really, I haven't heard anything terrible about this book. The writing is really fun, and I'm really intrigued, but I just haven't finished it. There's really no rhyme or reason to why I haven't finished this except for the fact that I just stopped reading it. So I definitely want to finish this sometime this year. I am determined to finish this book. Okay, moving on to the next few questions, and they are going to start with, what book have you yet to read because ... So the second question is, what book have you yet to read because you just haven't had the time? The book I chose for that was Fire Study by Maria V. Snyder. This is the third book in I think it's the study series, the first one being the Poison Study, second one being Magic Study. I read the first 2 books in 4 days. I did nothing else really except read, which I was supposed to be working on my novel, and I didn't because I was reading, and so I forced myself to not start this book. I told myself I could not start it until I finished chapter 10 of my book, which I have, but I'm still not going to start this book until I have finished the books I'm already currently reading. So I'm looking forward to reading this book and finishing the series because I absolutely am loving this series. Moving on to question number 3, and it is, what book have you yet to read because it's a sequel? So I have a couple for those, and the first one is Lumberjanes Volume 3. I've read Lumberjanes Volume 1, and my husband got this for me for Valentine's Day, and he knew I needed Volume 2, but they didn't have Volume 2, so instead of just not getting it, he got me Volume 3, so I need to read Volume 2 before I can read Volume 3, obviously. And the second one for that is A Love Like Ours by Becky Wade. I got this when I went to the RT Book Lovers Convention last year, and this is actually the 3rd book in a series. I have the first book on my Nook. I got that for free as well, and so I could read the first one, but I just haven't, and then I would have to get the second book before I could pick up this one. So I haven't picked it up, even though it really does sound fun. It's just, it's a contemporary romance novel, as you can tell by the cover. Okay, moving on to question number 4, and that is, what book have you yet to read because it's brand new? Okay, and the book that I chose is actually not a book that is completely brand new, but it has come out in the past couple months, and that is Winter by Marissa Meyer. I've not bought it, for one, because all the books that I bought in paperback, and then I've been putting off reading it because I'm going to be buddy reading with the Lawn Gnome, and he is finishing up Crest as we speak, and maybe not technically as we speak, but he's finishing up, and so I'm going to be buddy reading with him, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I've heard really great things about it. I've really enjoyed this series. The only problem is I kind of forgotten what happened in Crest. Kind of. That's probably a huge problem. Anyway, moving on to question number 5, and it is, what book have you yet to read because you read a book by the same author and didn't enjoy it? And that book is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. I started the Throne of Glass series, and I really liked Throne of Glass. I liked whatever the second, Crown of Midnight. Hated Heir of Fire. One, it was way too long, and it was just awful. And then I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I didn't like that book either. And so I'm just really hesitant to pick up Queen of Shadows. Okay, moving on to question number 6, and that is, what book have you yet to pick up because you're just not in the mood. And I have a couple of books for that. The first book being Emma by Jane Austen, and then the second book that I want to talk about is The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. And I've been wanting to read more mystery thriller books, and I've heard really great things about this, and I've been wanting to read it for a very long time. It's one of those I really have to be in the mood because mystery books are not like my go-to books, but I enjoy them when I read them. So I just have to be in one of those moods where I'm like, I need to read a mystery. Yes. Okay, moving on to question number 7, and that is, what book have you yet to read because it's humongous? And this is actually a reread for me, and that is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling. Okay, moving on to question number 8, and that is, what book have you yet to read because it was a cover by and then turned out to have poor reviews? The book that I chose for that is Across the Universe by Beth Revis. This book is completely 100% a cover buy. I was at our annual book fair, and so I only spent $2 on it. And I just saw it and thought the cover was gorgeous. I mean, like, even the back is pretty cool. And so I just picked it up because the cover just looks so amazing. And then when I went up to check out, the librarian said, oh, this book is amazing. I'm like, yes, it's going to be. I'm so excited. And then I was either looking on Goodreads or a few people on BookTube had told me, yeah, the book is not the greatest. And I was like, no! And so I just haven't picked it up yet. Not exactly because other people have said it's not the greatest, but that is part of the reason why I haven't picked this book up. And then moving on to question number 9 is, what is the most intimidating book on your TBR pile? And I really did look on my TBR pile, and I would have to say that really no book is intimidating. I don't tend to just like buy books or put books on my TBR that I'm like, I'm so intimidated by that book. But if I have to choose something, I would go with Moby Dick, mainly because I know that the language, there's so many new, really hard words in it, and it's really long. And I don't necessarily have like this burning desire to read it, but I just feel like I should because, well, I'm a reader and a writer, and it just feels like one of those things that I should do. So, yeah, we'll put that one on there. And the last question, which is, who do you tag? So the first person that I tag is Tiffany from The Crafty Home because she hasn't made one in a while and she just needs to. And then Felicia from the Little Prairie Library, Patty from I Smell Books, Jennifer from Wonderland Books, and Brock from Let's Read. So guys, you are tagged. So that concludes this tag video. Guys, I hope you're having a great reading month. Let me know down below any of your thoughts on any of the books I have talked about, or what is one of the books that you have been putting off reading, or whatever you want to say. And I will see you on the flip side.